Chat, here we go. We got Chronic versus Lostt, the second series in our continuation of USA versus Brazil. Reroll. We can do that. Oh, yeah. What? You're getting 100 ping. What is that? I appreciate these guys giving me 2 chances on my intro every time. Chat, here we potentially go. Yeah, let's reroll again. I was like, yeah, no worries. I was like, he got this 100 ping again. No worries, by the way. Or, by the way, let's find a good one. I didn't see what his answer was. I rudely interrupted them. Here we go. Chat, here we go. We have Chronic versus Lostt, the second series in our continuation of today's USA versus Brazil matches. The best of 7 between First Killer and Yan started us off because there's been a lot of talk about EU and Sam invading North America and claiming it as their own. So right now, North America has an opportunity to take some claim back in some 1v1s. If you haven't seen the Yan First Killer one, I probably uploaded it yesterday on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you just joined in live, you can always check out the Twitch VOD. But Lostt is a guy who hasn't played a ton of 1v1 as far as show matches go. He's actually highly rated on the ones leaderboard. But his first match ever, at least according to rlduels.gg, is against Zen. And I think chat pointed out, I think his match against Zen was early on in the Zen streak, because now debuting a player against Zen sounds absolutely ridiculous. But Zen was also debuting at one point, and I think it was around the same time. Nice pop by Chronic to tie the game. And then he played Daniel in the World Cup of 1v1s. And so he had Zen and Daniel on his resume. So who did they give him again? Those are both losses, by the way. They put him against Yan. Johnny played Yan. So he played Yan, or Johnny had him play Yan. So Yan, Daniel, and Zen were his 3 matches before this one. I'm not sure anybody's had a higher rated set of 3 starting matches than Lostt ever. But he actually was able to win one. He won in a best of 5 against Yan. And so he's 1-2. We're going to see how he does against a great North American 1v1er who just isn't the best of his region. Zen, the best of the EU region. Daniel, the best of the North American region. Yan, the best of South American's region. He was literally going up against the best of every region. So now, maybe a bit of an easier matchup in Chronic, but Chronic's certainly not a guy you can get an easy win against. I didn't look into Chronic's previous 1v1s. This is a great setup. Oh, Lostt actually didn't even get the save. He just missed it off the back wall double. I haven't watched a ton of Lostt 1v1. I think I caught his matches against Zen. I don't think I saw against Daniel or Yan. So I'll be interested to learn just how Lostt likes to play. Chronic, of course, an incredibly mechanical player, akin to AJ in their love to score clips, but sometimes at the sacrifice of what might otherwise be smart 1v1 play. Chronic flick into the crossbar. Huge setup. That's actually a great pass. First touch reset, but think of the kind of setup he wanted. Chronic is a flip resetter. Is Lostt also a primarily aerial attacker? What would you guys say, chat? So far is 1 goal on the board. Not enough to get a read yet. Chronic played that a bit slower than he maybe could have. He could have slowed down, let the ball roll off the top of his car and accelerated it quickly, but instead he just carried it in and trusted that he'd be able to 50 it in. Lostt able to take possession and convert for his second goal. Chronic slamming a bit too hard off the back wall. Not an easy catch and setup though from Lostt. More positional player, but has aerial offense. This one is a best of 5 between Chronic and Lostt. Double reset for Chronic. Just a casual day for him. Can he convert on a demo all the way out in the midfield? Interesting setup. Gets a reset, but backflips without really getting a flick. Just kind of hovers behind the ball, so doesn't get much out of it. Despite the tough setup. Lostt is just slowly waiting with this ball. He doesn't see an opportunity to strike with it, so he's just waiting it out. Chronic up 4-2, dashing his way to stick with this one despite being out of boost. Now will finally leave. Never saw an opportunity to make something happen before. Felt like he was in danger. Lostt hook shots the ball right at Chronic. Now off the wall is Chronic. One reset, two. He can give you many, but he misses on the last touch, and that'll be a freebie for Lostt. Why a best of 7 for Yan and best of 5 for Lostt? We did the best of 7 because we had a prize pool for that first round. And we did best of 5 because I asked Chronic and Lostt what they wanted, and Lostt said 5. Chronic has to hold on to a lead, and Lostt has to be a bit aggressive. So even though he's deep in the corner trying to challenge, that was actually a pretty cool celebration by Chronic. That tornado spin on the back corner of his car. Chronic pre-flip to secure another kickoff. 38 seconds, 3-goal lead. Likely going to be Chronic finishing this game off how he started. Chronic bumped to the midfield, but able to land, grab the 100. Going for a crazy shot. Look at this setup from Chronic. It seemed like he was maybe trying to shoot immediately off the sidewall double, but he launches it to the ceiling. Perfectly lands in reverse and gets the setup for the shot. 7-3. I don't think I see Lostt coming back here, and Chronic's making sure of it. Ceiling setup, can't get back. Lost at 0 boost, we'll get a 4th. But it's all, actually, he might not even get the 4th. He's gonna land off the crossbar. Get pinched away. Now it's in. Lostt has yet to get enough games in the 1v1 scene to really get a read on where he stands. But right now he stands down 0-1 against Chronic, the best of 5. I like Lostt car, by the way. If I had to pick somebody who's winning the preset game, it's Lostt. Guys, if you think, here's Chronic's preset, by the way, I'm going to show them both. If you think Chronic's preset is better, 1's in chat. If you think Lost's preset is better, 2's in chat. I want to see. This is Chronic's right here, both in the Fennec. 2's. I'm going to be honest, I see way more 1's than I would have thought. This is one of the coolest looking Fennecs I've seen in a while, if you ask me. 1 because Zen used it. That's not how it works. No. Wait, is it? This is the one that like everyone's using right now, isn't it? This is like the Fennec that Zen used, and now everybody's just using it. Is that true? I mean, not just specifically the Buster Bar, but also these colors. I mean, Lostt is just it's just cooler. There's just no way else around it. All he needs to do is win the EU regional as well, and then everybody's in this car. Right now, he's winning this game number 2, a minute in. Not a lot of offense. As he pops this ball high. Looks to steal some boost. Chronic, such a quick dasher. Actually wins the race at the corner, but is it at the cost of a goal? It is. Sometimes it's not worth it to get to the boost first if you're just going to get bumped onto the back wall. You should get a 2v2 of 2 different regions, but do 2 1v1s. But they get to choose who play each other, and then a 2v2 for a game. Then they choose who 1v1s. Wait, are you saying it's like a best of 3? Where they play a 1v1, then a 2v2, then a 1v1? Was it just 3 matches? A lot of people maybe expecting Chronic to run away after game number 1. Coming in as a much more veteran of the 1C. Nice fake from Lostt. But Lostt having quite the bounce back here so far. In game number 2, minute 30 in. Not only does he have every goal so far, but he also gives a little disrespectful fake on Chronic. Oh, they both double faked it. But Lostt is back to the ball first. Although I'm not sure it's going to pay off better for him. Chronic able to get the back 100 and now gets the real first possession. Pop over the top of Lostt. Will use that to steal his corner. Had a chance to get that angle on that touch, but instead has to just try and hold on to possession. Lostt challenges. If we get to the midfield before Chronic steals that one. Chronic trying to get creative off the ceiling. We saw Yan do that in the previous match. Lostt 5-0. Not often you see somebody get shut out. Certainly not somebody who won the previous game in a landslide. Big kickoff from Lostt. Holds on to possession. Chronic getting desperate. Trying to hang around the play. Lostt just booms it over him. And you guys are trying to tell me that this Lostt preset isn't better. Chronic just barely back up to this ball. Stop the long shot from Lostt. Two minutes left to go. Chronic not really showing any signs of life that might make you think he's coming back. This would certainly be a way to start it. He was able to convert this into some sort of crazy shot. By the way, Chronic might be uploading a 1v1 like this to YouTube. He's been grinding the Rocket League 1v1 YouTube, or just Rocket League YouTube in general. He's gonna get his first goal with a minute 38 left to get the next 5. But I'd recommend checking Chronic out. I don't think Lostt does YouTube, but there's a good chance that if he did, that I wouldn't get recommended that, because I imagine it'd be in Portuguese. But I think he just doesn't do YouTube. Chronic is another 130 since his first goal. He's actually on pace, certainly. Got that second one very quickly. Lostt going to pinch this away. It should lead to a free possession for Chronic. Lostt pre-jumped. Was he not already in the air back there? That was an insane pre-jump. Chronic, though, dribbles to the back wall and can't get a finish. He's going to try and pre-jump right back at Lostt, who should be able to float easily down. Tap in the 7 goal, and there it is. Chronic knew he maybe had a chance if he had been able to score 6 straight, but after not being able to get one, it will be game number 2 to Lostt. Tied 1-1. A best of 3 remains between Brazil and the U.S. Game number 2. Chronic and Lostt. Chronic struggled to find any offense But as I've talked about before many times, I just feel like we keep seeing examples of it. In series, you'll often see 2 dominations from 2 different players. A clear win followed by a clear win by the opposite player, and then on out, as these players get reads on each other, the series is much tighter. So we'll see if that happens again in game number 3. Lostt scores first. Chronic fakes it this time and is able to convert it for a goal. He's threatened so many flicks from these air dribbles. He's kept trying to score them. This time, he just pulls off and fakes it. Chronic, another kickoff win. Sees Lostt off the ceiling. Couldn't get the kind of speed to the bottom left that would have been able to counter Lostt. Chronic trying to conserve as much boost as possible to set up for this hook shot. Somehow it sneaks underneath Lostt, but he's still able to get the save. Chronic boost steal works out as he's able to recover to the ball and get the demo. Now attacking through the air. Instantly uses the flip as he grabs another. That's a fairly strong shot. The play around Lostt. He needed a tight angle touch. He missed it. Possession is still his. Flick over Lostt. Lostt was completely starved out. That'll be a 2-1. Vying for the kickoff at midfield is Chronic and Lostt. For the Chronic 3-1 lead. Chronic soft first touch, but on a setup that was already far off target. He needed that first touch to be something that brought it back towards the midfield, and it wasn't. Lostt, air dribble bump. Chronic almost made it back. Lostt picking up where Yan left off with the air dribble bumps. That was the last touch from Lostt. Chronic still almost got the save. Lostt now. A kickoff goal to tie it. Here's the close game that we all could expect. Fake kickoff from Lostt. Chronic plays it right to him, but he hands it back over. Chronic to the back wall. He is more than willing to go the whole distance. Doing the freestyler setup into the pogo. Chronic has just always been somebody who's looking to style, but the immediate flick off the wall, the immediate, like the control musty, or I don't know what it's called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The backflip flick that barely touches the ball and just starts the air dribble with it. That is a setup that is almost exclusively used in freestyling. You don't see a lot of competitive players setting it up that way. It's just kind of a hard setup that the end result is just a dribble that you probably otherwise would have been able to get easier. So when you see somebody going for that kind of setup, you know they're looking to clip. Especially when they also finish that setup with a pogo miles from the net. Is the title not updated? Oh, it isn't. All right, I'll update it. Don't worry. First killer versus Yan, of course, did happen. So you can go back and check it in the VOD if you want to see it. Right now we got Chronic versus Lostt. I'll update that. Chronic, can he get this read? Oh my goodness, I was updating the title. We got to make sure we watch this again from his perspective. The huge setup from the midfield to get over the top of the pre-jump. Not an easy read to get, but Chronic, the kind of guy who can make them. Chronic, 5-3. The kickoff initial attempt is saved, and Lostt actually did his best to recover quickly on the side wall, but not enough. Lostt. Couldn't get the follow-up on this touch. Chronic very clearly playing the possession as opposed to carrying it all about the back corner boost and leaving it. Not only does it mean Chronic can look to play the possession faster, but it also baits Lostt into wanting to get it himself by leaving it there. Lostt thinks he has an opportunity to go take it. That puts him even farther out of the play. Chronic chip to himself. Cannot win this 50. He actually could have recovered to make this save if he had done it a bit better. But Lostt just getting right over, or not quite over, but like diagonal over the ball and slamming it into the ground in order to win the 50. It's delayed kickoff. Does not work. Chronic has a great setup. He's had some pretty poor setups earlier in the series, but this time it's a dangerous one. And Lostt able to get the save. Lostt within 2 with a minute left to go. He has Chronic in his back half with low boost. He's going to be forced all the way to his own back wall. Chronic deciding to do what he's done multiple times this series, which is attack the possession as opposed to resetting on boost. Chronic pre-jumping like crazy, and he convinces Lostt to drop the ball to the ground. Long shot for Chronic now. Not going to convert, but doesn't need to. Being said, Lostt has a possession. Flick pre-jumped by Chronic. He escapes the demo. It turns into just a bump, and that won't be enough. Chronic certainly going to make it 2-1 in the series. This one only showing a bit of separation because Lostt had to be aggressive here late. His attempt to bring it back. Another delayed kickout from him. Chronic, can he get a clip he's been searching for so much? This one's too high. 2-1. Lostt gonna need to win 2 straight if he wants to win the series. Game number 4. Lostt could afford to have a strong start. And a strong start is what he's got. An immediate kickoff win into the wall to air dribble. Gets the reset and threatens the use of the flip. Chronic has to jump. Lostt sends it low. Another kickoff win for Lostt. Immediate shot from him almost surely. Try and see if he can punish Chronic, but he did not get the kind of power he needs. I don't think it's necessarily the wrong idea to go for this shot, but a level of execution is required in order to make it a smart play. If you whiff and hit it as slow as he did, it does mean counterattack. There's a world where he gets the right touch on it and it converts for a goal. Credit to Chronic for recognizing that he had that opportunity to pass off his own back wall. He's in a tough spot right now. Lostt trying to break Chronic down. The pre-jump from Chronic into the low 50. It's not enough. Lostt powers his way through. These guys fighting in the race to the midfield. Chronic wins the race, which often is an incredibly advantageous position, but Lostt was able to control the ball quickly. Prevent himself having to play against a full boost attack. Chronic just freestyling in his back corner. What's he doing? Slamming the ball off the ceiling and then back down off the ground. Never converts it to any sort of attacking motion. Lostt able to take it away, but Chronic has a save. Lostt unable to grab his corner boost as he looks to make clears, which means he's going to have to continue to play on 0, although he manages to get the midfield. You can see Chronic trying his best to get the touch on the ball and flip through the boost, but couldn't quite do it. Chronic, a save and clear to the corner. Lostt is trying to bait him out. Chronic doesn't back down, still goes out to meet him. Lostt able to make a reverse challenge that stops Lost's immediate shot, but the follow-up is able to get past. 3-1 for Lostt. Chronic, some camera checks. He wants to control the ball down on top of his car, which if Lostt leaves, he can do, but has to be available to make a play if Lostt is hanging around looking to intercept it. Lostt backing off into net. Chronic, huge air dribble, gets the reset. Actually bounced it awkwardly directly at Lostt where he couldn't get a touch with momentum either way. Lostt over the top of Chronic. Needed to knock ground pinch it if he wanted to be able to score. He actually had to back off the ball so that his next touch could be on target, but instead he pushes to the back wall. And Lostt in a tough position now. Bounce dribble. Not really a bounce dribble, just a bouncing setup, I should say, for Chronic. And it can lead to booming shots like that one. Yo, Big Fan, leave the prime.
Less than 3.
For 3 months. Guys, I met Big Fan at LAN, and I'm gonna blame it on him. I'm gonna go out and blame it on him and say he has to introduce himself some other way. But he said, "Hey, I'm Big Fan," or something like that, and I was like, obviously, I interpreted that as him trying to tell me he was a big fan, and it confused me. And he's, no, I'm Big Fan. Oh, got it. There's got to be some better way for him to introduce himself. Chronic drops the ball to Lostt, and Lostt converts on that pass. Egomaniac thinking everyone's a huge fan. No, I didn't. That's why it was confusing to me. I was like, okay. Well, he is Big Fan. He's a big fan. I mean, he primed for 3 months. To me, that's a big fan. I'm Big Fan from Twitch. Yeah, that could be better. I play in his fantasy league that he created, so it could be as easy as saying that. Hey, I'm the guy who created the fantasy league. Big Fan. That would work, I think. Or maybe I'm just such an egomaniac that as soon as he says the word Big Fan, everything else goes away, and I just assume he's a big fan. Chronic, threatening in the air, keeps Lostt pinned high on the back wall. So Chronic sees his chance to go underneath. Wall to air dribble for Chronic. There was one today where he was the pioneer of this kickoff situation. The wall to air dribble was farmed by Chronic for goals, and he's going to do it this time. Lostt thinking about challenging off the ceiling. Maybe even tried to get back on the wall or back on the ceiling. Didn't work out. Ryzix, thank you for the brand new prime. He's been faking a ton. Chronic finally has the read, but this flick isn't the perfect counter. It is going to give him possession and 100 boost to work with. First touch, ain't it if you're Chronic. But luckily for him, Lostt actually doesn't get the ball. He uses his reset to wave dash backwards in order to set up his shot. He's got 45 seconds to convert, and Lostt is not in a great position. You see Lostt taking the semicircle of boost grabbing, and so often does that get you the boost you need, but put you in a position where you cannot make a proper save, and that's the case this time as Lostt attacking back to net. Has to jump in 180, using boost to do his best to stop his incorrect momentum, but not enough. You won't be winning 50s with a setup like that. So it is a tie game. Chronic 1 goal away from potentially winning the series. Going to try and 50, and he does! The setup is great for a power shot high, so Lostt tries to get up to make sure he can't get that shot, and Chronic lays off the gas and goes underneath. Langley, thank you for the prime. 3 months of prime. Great to have you around. Lostt. Bouncing setup for the shot. Chronic deciding to use his last bit of boost to just send the ball to the orange half. Says, I'll figure it out later. I'll try and keep him pinned back there, but he does not succeed. Lost his 100 boost to work with. He just let the ball fall too far away from him on that setup. A demo means he gets one last chance, and he's going to go for a wall to air dribble off the side wall. Chronic with 30 boost. Pre-jumps and Lostt drops the ball to the ground. I'm not even sure Chronic even needed to tap it. It might have just hit ground early. Chronic, the 3-1 win over Lostt. And it's a win today for the US of A.